Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today I thought I'd make a video of my shop, give you a little tour through the shop here. It's nothing huge. In fact, my shop is actually an old goat barn. We're in the basement of a goat barn here. When my parents bought this farm and added it to our Christmas tree farm in the 80s, this was a goat farm and they used to raise the goats in here. But at the time I started this business, about 2008, my dad was just using this for storage, and quite honestly, it was just piled with junk. So we started cleaning it out, and it was my shop because it's what I had at the time, and I'm a believer in making use of the resources you already have, especially when you're starting out in a business like this that takes quite an investment. So it just started off as my shop, and it's always worked for me, so it's still my shop today. So I'll take you for a walk around here. It's not big by any means. I'd like to have more room, but I've found ways over the years to make it as efficient as possible. And it works for me, being that I'm mostly a one-man shop. It works well. I've found ways to produce the products I'm looking to make, and it suits me well. So we've added other buildings along the way for the sawmill and storing lumber and stuff like that, but this is my shop and probably will continue to be for the foreseeable future. But without further ado, I'll take you around and show you some of the equipment here. So everything I runs on a phase converter. All these machines are three-phase. If you've ever been here, you know we're pretty remote. I don't have three-phase power from the utility here. It's just not an option. It's cost prohibitive how far it would have to run. So I run it off a phase converter, and that works pretty well for me. So the first machine here, this is actually the newest machine I've added. Just a few months ago, I hooked this up. This is a Northfield planer. It's a beast of a planer. 25 inches wide, 15 horsepower motor. It just eats wood. It is really been a nice addition. It replaced a 20-inch Powermatic that was 10 horsepower, and oh my god, night and difference day. The Powermatic was a good machine. It served me for a long time, but this machine is just the next level in finish and craftsmanship. Northfield is really an amazing company. I'm sure a lot of you guys have never heard of them before. They're in Minnesota. They've been in business for about 100 years. This machine, believe it or not, is a 1969 model. And I bought it in Buffalo, New York, found it online. It needed a lot of work, got it for a great price. Worked with the president of Northfield. He went through everything I needed. We ordered all the parts. It cost a lot of money in parts. I won't give you a dollar amount because my wife might be watching this. But I sunk a lot of money into it, and I can tell you after running it for a few months, it's been worth every penny. It really is the gold standard of way machines should be built. They're still making these exact same machines today in Minnesota that they've been making. Like I said, this is a 1969 model, and they're still making this exact same model, more or less, with a few little updates here and there, but the basic framework of it is the same, and there's a reason. I mean, they're just built to run. It is an absolute tank. It is built to run 40 hours a week easily, and it has really been nice, especially upgrading from a 20-inch to a 25-inch planer really helps me, especially since I do some countertop work. Being able to run a countertop through in one pass is great. A lot of live edge slabs and stuff like that. The 20-inch was just a little too small. So this really has helped with that. I actually had all the electrical redone, gone through before I put it into service. And this actually has straight knives on it. My last planer had a helical head. I know if there's woodworkers out there, that's the craze right now, is the helical heads. And I like them, don't get me wrong. My Powermatic with the helical head, I never quite got the finish I wanted with it. And this machine had the straight head on it, so I left it as is, at least for now. But the neat thing about this, you might be wondering what that motor is there. That's actually an onboard grinder. These old school American planers, the old Powermatics and Northfields, Olivers, Whitneys, They used to grind the knives right in the head, and I should actually make a video about that. I think I will next time I grind this. This has an index ring under this fan cover here that you can lock that head in, and then you run that grinder back and forth right in the head and grind the knives, and then you can actually join them in place. And the advantage of that is you get a perfectly true cutting circle. So you don't have to pull knives out, sharpen them, put them back in, and try to get everything exactly even. You know, even with a micrometer, you can't get them perfect. But when you sharpen and joint and head, you can get a perfectly round cutting circle, gives you an excellent finish. And this machine does have an excellent finish. So I'm pretty happy with that. It is true, the helical carbides, you get more life out of them. They're more maintenance free. But what I found with my Powermatic is the cost of those cutter heads keeps going up. The inserts keeps going up. And also the time to change those. That was a 20-inch, and that was about a 2-hour turnaround to flip all those inserts. So this 25 would have been more expensive and more time. So I'm not upset to have this straight head. So far it's performed well for me. So this is this machine. Like I said, it's the newest thing I've added here a few months ago. It's been quite a journey to get it ready. If you ever have an opportunity, if you ever see Northfield equipment used, a lot of times you can find this old iron cheap online on Craigslist, stuff like that, because they're just big and most people can't handle them. But if you have the facility, if you can run them, they're planers, they're bandsaws, they're jointers. I mean, they are world class. So they're heavy duty machines. Honestly, it's the way things used to be made in this country. They've managed to stay in business. They're one of the remaining, I believe, 2 as far as I know. I could be wrong about this. Whitney is the other manufacturer that's still made in the USA with heavy cast iron. I hate to say a lot of the other brands like Powermatic, even though they're still in business, they're just names. They're just brands. They're made in Taiwan. Not to say there's anything wrong with their machines. They make good machines. It's all just a matter of what you're looking for. You know, how hard you use it. I've had a Grizzly planer in the past. It was a good planer. It was an excellent planer for a home shop or a small commercial operation, but it couldn't handle the amount of volume I was putting through it. So that has been a great planer. And next thing, I have this roller table here. That's just a simple thing I thought I'd show you. I have it on wheels. They're actually jacks, so I can raise it up and down depending on how thick I'm planing to match the outfeed of the Northfield, and I can roll it out of the way. Since I'm in a small shop here, that's a big thing for me, is keeping everything modular. You know, I can move stuff around, reconfigure depending on what kind of project I'm working on as I see fit. So the next thing is an Oliver straight line ripsaw. So basically, if you're not familiar with a straight line ripsaw, it's like a self-feed table saw. So you can see these Caterpillar tracks here, a metal track grabs the board, and there's pressure rollers in the head here that push down, so it pinches the board and pulls it through this little groove here. The blade actually rides down a little bit below the surface of the track, so you can cut all the way through the board. This is actually a blade. I just got back from the sharpener that's about to go in there, and so that's what the blade looks like. And you have a fence that moves back and forth just like a table saw, but then it also has a laser on it, and that laser is for your first cut. So that laser makes a straight line with the blade. So you line your board up to take the rough edge off, you run it through lined with the laser. That gives you a dead straight edge. You bring it back to you and you run it against the fence to cut to your dimension. It's extremely accurate, leaves a very nice finish on the edge of the boards, and I've been happy with this. This is what I use primarily for if you were to order lumber to a dimension, or if I'm doing a molding order. I used to do all my flooring blanks on this. Since then, I've moved them to my 2-blade edger, which I have that in other videos. That's down at the sawmill. That's a lot faster, but this for precision work, you can't beat it. And this, when I bought this, they actually dropped it in freight and shipping. So there's certain pieces of this that are a little banged up, like the electrical cabinet. That was a battle with insurance and parts, and it took a long time from the time I got this to when I actually got it running. just because they had kind of made a mess of it in shipping. But I've had this for a long time, years, and this is a very good machine. It's got an oiler on it that oils that metal track, so it's automatic computer controlled oiler. And in the back there I have a shaper, just a grizzly shaper, nothing special. I don't use it very often, more so for custom small odds and ends jobs that don't really fit the bill of the molder, but it does get used. Same with the other building. I have a router table and table saw, bandsaw. It's common shop tools for smaller jobs, but these tools here are the ones that do the bulk of my work. It's a Grizzly 37-inch drum sander. Primarily use this for countertops and panels. If I glue up panels for somebody or make like a butcher block countertop, this is the final pass through here, just to clean them up, put a nice sand on them. So that's that machine there. I also have a Grizzly 12-inch jointer. I'm sure most of you guys are familiar with jointers. This one, not a whole lot to say about that. It's a good joiner. I've never had any issues with it. It does its job. 12 inch is a nice size. I had an 8-inch previously and was able to upgrade to a 12-inch. That makes your life a lot easier for some bigger stock. The radial arm saw, I use that for cutting everything to length, flooring, molding. It's dead set at 90 degrees. I'd never move it. If I need to do any angle work, I have a miter saw in the other building. I use that, but I try to keep this at a perfect 90 degrees. Just for flooring's sake, really, but for everything that I'm cutting to length, it just makes it nice. The dust collection is 3-phase dust collection. Nothing you wouldn't expect there. It blows out into an open shed. I sell my shavings for horse bedding. That is something, it's worked for me for a long time. I bought it with the molder and it works. I would like to upgrade here in the future to something a little bit bigger. That is a 4 horsepower, I believe, and it is right on the verge of not being enough for some jobs, but it's always worked for me. So that will be something in the future you'll probably see upgraded. And this I save for last. This is the heart of the operation. This is a 4-sided molder. This is a Logosol PH260 4-sided molder. These actually aren't made or branded by Logosol anymore. They still make these exact same machines. They're now Wood-Mizer machines. Wood-Mizer bought out the parent factory that made these. So, you know, I have a Wood-Mizer sawmill, so they handle these machines now. So the way this works, it has 4 cutting heads. So the board comes in underneath the feed rolls. And right now I'm set up for flooring. That's what does a lot of its work, is flooring. So this is your bottom cutter head, and you can see it has a back relief knife in it there to cut the grooves in the back of the flooring. And so that planes the bottom of the board. It kind of has a jointing action as it runs across this table. The side cutter head, in this case, the way it's set up, that cuts your groove into your tongue and groove flooring. And this also, the way the fences are set up, kind of has a joining action to straighten things. Third head is the groove head. That moves in and out to adjust for your width. And this top head is your finished planing head. In this case, that would be the top of your flooring. But this machine is very interchangeable. I can make tongue groove flooring, V-groove paneling, shiplap, all kinds of moldings, crown moldings, case moldings. It's a very versatile machine. It really is the heart of my operation. And this machine actually has served me. I bought this new in 2008. This machine is on its way out. It's being upgraded with something else. I'm just going to leave that as a little teaser. You'll have to stick around. I'm waiting pretty much any day now to hear that the new machine is on its way, and we'll make a video about that. But this machine has served me excellent. It's going to be for sale because it still does the job. It still works very well. I'm just upgrading to something a little bit bigger. Has some features I'm looking forward to. So I will definitely make you a video about that. and maybe we'll do a side-by-side comparison of the two machines, but I'll leave that as a teaser. So that's it. And obviously I have some other miscellaneous stuff, some sharpeners and tools and a whole host of molding knives and all that kind of stuff. But I just wanted to give you an overview of the shop, how I run things, you know, what I'm working with. The one thing I will do, I'll take you upstairs because we're downstairs here. Right above me is my office in the loft of this barn, and I'll show you some of the products that come off of this machine. Okay, so we're going into my office now. This is actually what used to be the hayloft in this barn. And I just wanted to give you an idea here of some of the different products that I make here. You can see there's some pine beadboard. That's some chair rail molding. Pretty much everything in here, the casing, everything in here came out of my shop, other than the drywall. Some V-groove paneling, also pine. It's a custom desk I made, a chair. This is a little sample section of some walnut butcher block. Some nice stuff. I do a lot of butcher block countertops. And then obviously the floor. I won't get into super detail here of all the different types of flooring, but I have sections of just about all the local woods that we carry here. This is something that I do. It is mixed species flooring. It's a mixture of all the different local woods. It really gives you some beautiful color, grain, a lot of character in this. It's been very popular for flooring. You won't see it many other places. It's kind of something I came up with here locally. And along with that, don't mind all our extra, I keep all my extra cutoffs and overrun from orders up here just for small orders and such. But we also use it as wall paneling, make some really neat wall paneling. We've sold a bunch of that for different projects just to give you a really unique look. So I just wanted to give you a quick overview of the different products I make and maybe give you a better idea of how it all works from machinery to the end process. So that's all I got for you on this one. Thanks for watching, guys. Catch you later.